Sorry,
Thank you,
carry on.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So before we start with the prayers, I know Prabhuji mentioned in the messages in the group about a very special thing that happened at the temple of Guruvayur in Kerala in Bharat today. So every day the Lord is dressed differently at the time, around the time of the afternoon, the midday darshan. So the midday darshan in Guruvayur is called the Ucha Puja. So that is when the Lord is specially dressed for the day. So it can be a combination of, so it is called Alankara. Alankara is decoration or adorning the Lord. So it can be a combination of, or it is rather, it is a combination of using pure sandal paste or chandan and the divine ornaments, flowers, garlands, and the way the priests do it is it's a divine art. It's a divine art, and every day there is a very special alankara that is put together especially for the Lord's pleasure. So today, considering so today the alankara was that of Sri Krishna as a child, dancing on the hoods of the snake Kalia, holding Kalia's tail in one hand and holding a flute in the other and dancing merrily with the most beautiful smile on his face. The temple administration, the Guruvayur temple administration, they have their own YouTube channel, and every day they put out a video where one of the assistant temple priests, his name is Sri Tiruvalur Sri Kumaran Nambudiri. He describes the Alankara that is presented to the Lord on that day. He does this every day, and every day that video is put out on YouTube. When I say video, from the YouTube perspective, it is technically a video, but there are no actual recordings or photographs, obviously, because photography or videography is not allowed, not permitted inside the temple. So it is what they do instead is there's this very great and very blessed um, devotee of the Lord. So her name is Manju Murugan, and she hails from a town called Aranmula in Kerala, which is well known for its temple of Sri Krishna as Parthasarathi, the charioteer of Arjuna, and the deity in the temple was in fact established, was installed, I should say. The deity in the temple was consecrated and installed by Arjuna himself. So Manju Murugan, the devotee that I'm talking about, she hails from the town. And every single day, as a service to the Lord, as soon as it is known that this is the Alankara that the Lord was decorated with on that particular day, she puts it out, she draws it and paints it on paper and presents it as an offering to the Lord. So a photo of her drawing is put out on the video. So that helps the devotee visualize. So that photo of her drawing provides the visual component, and the narration that is provided by the assistant temple priest, uh, it's you have to hear it to believe it. He does it with so much devotion, Of course, he speaks in Malayalam, which not many of us may understand. But I have listened to a few of his narrations, and you lose yourself. You can actually imagine yourself being in the temple and listening, looking at the Lord in that particular alankara. So I would like to share my screen and show you today's alankara. I'll explain why I thought it was significant. Okay, sorry. Right. Here it is. I hope you're able to see my screen. So this is a screen grab of the video that was put out today by the Guruvayur Devaswam, or the Guruvayur Temple Administration, from their official YouTube channel. This is that devotee's artistic representation of today's Alankara for the Lord at Guruvayur. And it is so, so beautiful. And I thought it was fitting because this episode, this particular episode, or this particular Leela of the Lord signifies victory over evil, destruction of evil, and upholding goodness, upholding righteousness. And that's what we are praying for, aren't we? We are praying for everything to calm down. We are praying for the fighting to end. We are praying for everyone to be happy and peaceful. So I thought this was very relevant, and I thought it would be good to share it with everyone. And this year, this person that you see here in this small photo, he is the assistant priest, Sri Kumaran Nambudiri, his name is. He is the one who does the narration every day. Am I still audible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
Yes,
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, okay. I just happened to, I'm connected to a monitor, so I accidentally disconnected my laptop from the monitor. Okay, let's get on with the prayers. We'll begin with the Narasimha Kavacham. So I hope it's okay if I share this particular text. It's just easy for me to read.
Absolutely.
The text. It's got a translation as well, but it's got the text in Sanskrit, so I hope it's okay.
That's fine. Yeah. Most people will be familiar with it here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
It will be good. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I'll begin, Prabhuji.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Shri Narasimha Kavacham. नृसिंहकवचं वक्ष्ये प्रह्लादेनोदितं पुरा सर्वरक्षाकरं पुण्यं सर्वोपद्रवनाशनं सर्वसम्पत्करं चैव स्वर्गमोक्षप्रदायकं ध्यात्वा नृसिंहं देवेशं हेमसिंहासनस्थितं विवृतास्यं त्रिनयनं शरदिन्दुसमप्रभं लक्ष्म्यालिङ्गितवामाङ्गं विभूतिभिरुपाश्रितं चतुर्भुजं कोमलाङ्गं स्वर्णकुण्डलशोभितं सरोजशोभितो रस्कं रत्नकेयूरमुद्रितं तप्तकाञ्चनसङ्काशं पीतनिर्मलवाससं इन्द्रादिसुरमौलिष्ठस्फुरन्माणिक्यदीप्तिभिः विराजितपदद्वन्द्वं.
I can't see what you're chanting, so you are not sharing it.
Oh, am I not?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Let me share.
Follow it, but it's okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll begin again.
Yeah, now we can see it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Shri Narasimha Kavacham नृसिंहकवचं वक्ष्ये प्रह्लादेनोदितं पुरा सर्वरक्षाकरं पुण्यं सर्वोपद्रवनाशनं सर्वसम्पत्करं चैव स्वर्गमोक्षप्रदायकम् ध्यात्वा नृसिंहं देवेशं हेमसिंहासनस्थितं विवृतास्यं त्रिनयनं शरदिन्दुसमप्रभं लक्ष्म्यालिङ्गितवामाङ्गं विभूतिभिरुपाश्रितं चतुर्भुजं कोमलाङ्गं स्वर्णकुण्डलशोभितं सरोजशोभितो रस्कं रत्नकेयूरमुद्रितं तप्तकाञ्चनसङ्काशं पीतनिर्मलवाससम् इन्द्रादिसुरमौदिष्ठ स्फुरन्माणिक्यदीप्तिभिः विराजितपदद्वन्द्वं शङ्खचक्रादिहेतिभिः गरुत्मता च विनयात् स्तूयमानं मुदान्वितं स्वहृत्कमलसंवासं कृत्वा तु कवचं पठेत् नृसिंहो मे शिरः पातु लोकरक्षार्थसम्भवः स्वर्गो सर्वगोपिस्तम्भवासस्फालं मे रक्षतु ध्वनिम् नृसिंहो मे दृशौ पातु सोमसूर्याग्निलोचनः स्मृतिं मे पातु नृहरिः मुनिवर्यस्तुतिप्रियः नासं मे सिंहनासस्तु मुखं लक्ष्मीमुखप्रियः सर्वविद्याधिपः पातु नृसिंहो रसनां मम वक्त्रं पात्विन्दुवदं सदा प्रह्लादवन्दितः नृसिंहः पातु मे कण्ठं स्कन्धौ भूभरणान्तकृत् दिव्यास्त्रशोभितभुजो नृसिंहः पातु मे भुजौ करौ मे देववरदो नृसिंहः पातु सर्वतः हृदयं योगिसाध्यश्च निवासं पातु मे हरिः मध्यं पातु हिरण्याक्ष वक्षः कुक्षिविदारणः नाभिं मे पातु नृहरिः स्वनाभि ब्रह्म संस्तुतः ब्रह्माण्डकोटयः कट्यां यस्यासौ पातु मे कटिं गुह्यं मे पातु गुह्यानां मन्त्राणां गुह्यरूपदृक् ऊरू मनोभवः पातु जानुनी नररूपधृक् जङ्घे पातु धराभारा हत्ता योऽसौ नृकेसरी सुरराजप्रदः पातु पादौ मे नृहरीश्वरः सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः पातु मे सर्वशस्तनुं महोग्रः पूर्वतः पातु महावीराग्रजोऽग्नितः महाविष्णुर्दक्षिणे तु महाज्वालस्तु नैऋतौ पश्चिमे पातु सर्वेषु दिशि मे सर्वतोमुखः नृसिंहः पातु वायव्यां सौम्यां भूषणविग्रहः ईशान्यां पातु भद्रो मे सर्वमङ्गलदायकः संसारभयतः पातु मृत्युर्नृकेसरी इदं नृसिंहकवचं प्रह्लादमुखमण्डितं भक्तिमान् यः पठे नित्यं सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते पुत्रवान् धनवान् लोके दीर्घायुरुपजायते यं यं कामयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोत्यसंशयं सर्वत्र जयमाप्नोति सर्वत्र विजयी भवेत् भूम्यन्तरिक्ष दिव्यानां ग्रहाणां विनिवारणं वृश्चिकोरगसम्भूत विषापहरणं परं ब्रह्मराक्षसयक्षाणां दूरोच्चारणकारणं भूर्जे वा तालपत्रे वा कवचं लिखितं शुभं करमूले धृतं येन सिद्ध्येयुः कर्मसिद्धयः देवासुरमनुष्येषु स्वं स्वमेव जयं लभेत् एकसन्ध्यं त्रिसन्ध्यं वा यः पठे नियतो नरः सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं भुक्तिं मुक्तिं च विन्दति 32 पठेत् शुद्धात्मनां नृणां कवचस्यास्य मन्त्रस्य मन्त्रसिद्धिः प्रजायते अनेन मन्त्रराजेन कृत्वा भस्माभिमन्त्रणं तिलकं विन्यसेद्यस्तु तस्य ग्रहभयं हरेत् त्रिवारं जपमानस्तु दत्तं वार्यभिमन्त्र्य च प्राशयेद्यो नरो मन्त्रं नृसिंहध्यानमाचरेत् तस्य रोगाः प्रणश्यन्ति ये च स्युः कुक्षिसम्भवाः किमत्र बहुनोक्तेन नृसिंहसदृशो भवेत् मनसा चिन्तितं यत्तु सतच्चाप्नोत्यसंशयम् गन्तं गर्जयन्तं निजभुजपटलं स्फोटयन्तं हतन्तं दीप्यन्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि दितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रन्दन्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं भरन्तं वीक्षन्तं घूर्णयन्तं करनिकरशतैः दिव्यसिंहं नमामि इति श्री ब्रह्माण्डपुराणे प्रह्लादोक्तं श्री नृसिंहकवचं सम्पूर्णम् हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू Prabhuji, what do you propose we do
That was
next?
amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
I think I made a few mistakes. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. No, luckily, we've been doing it for nearly 2 years, so we recognize a lot of the mantras now. But that was really amazing. Lakshmi Nashinga one is good. I think let's go for that.
So would you like to proceed with that?
Yeah, but you do it.
Okay.
You're really good.
So I hope you can see my screen again.
See it, yes.
Okay, so this is the Sri Lakshmi Nrasimha Karavalamba Stotram. So Kara meaning hand and Avalamba meaning protection or support. So when the author of this stotra, which is Adi Shankaracharya, when he says at the end of every verse, Lakshmi Nrasimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam, that means, oh Lord Lakshmi Narasimha, please grant me the protection of your hand. I take shelter in you. So okay, so these are the verses. Just give me a moment to check. I think this is missing one verse. I need to check it. Meanwhile, if any, until we begin, if any of the devotees have anything to share, any other prayers you would like to chant, please go ahead. We'll that way we'll all participate.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I think Kamakshi, you can chant the Singa prayers.
Yeah, okay.
I won't bring them up. You know them, no?
Yeah, I think so. I hope I don't make mistakes. Forgive me if I do. Hare Krishna to everybody. Prayers for the ill-fated people around. Let's see, Nrsimhadev protects them and us all. Namaste Narashingaya Pralad Ladadaine Hiranyakashi Purvakshaya Shilatankana Kalaye Hito Nashingo Parto Nashingo Yato Yamitato Nashingo Bahir Nashingo Radaye Nashingo Narshingamadim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Adbhuta Sringa Dalida Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Nrsingadev 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 Jaya Nrsingadev Jaya Lakshmi Nrsinga Lakshmi Nrsinga Lakshmi Nrsinga Jaya Lakshmi Nrsinga Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Bhakta Prahlad Jaya Bhakta Prahlad Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol जय नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय भक्त प्रहलाद की जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु की जय अपने अपने गुरुदेव की जय हरि बोल
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Very good. Shruti, are you ready?
Yes, Prabhuji, just 1 minute. I realized that one verse was missing from the presentation that I had put together last year. So I'm just adding that verse here.
While we're waiting, we can ask Kaushalya Mataji. Would you like to chant to Lord Nrsingadev as well?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go for it.
Namaste Narasringhaya Praladadayani Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Hito Nrsimho Parato Nrsimho Yato yami tato Nrsimho Bahi Nrsimho Hridayi Nrsimho Nrsimhamadim Sharanam Prapade Tava Kara Kamala Vahinakam Advaita Shringham Dalita Hiranyakashipu Danavringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Nrsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Very good. Very, very good. And we can also ask Lena, then everybody will have sung.
Oh, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I've just learned it and I'm so glad to have learned it.
Okay, good. Go for it.
Okay, just let me bring it up, yeah?
Yes, yes, sure. Well done.
Right, okay. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadayine Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimho Yato Yamitato Nrsimha Bahir Nrsimho Hridaye Nrsimho Nrsimadim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Nakamatutta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubrikam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare. Bolo Narsimha Dev ki Jai, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai.
Yeah.
Thank you
Very
so
good.
much.
Well done. Very nice.
Thanks.
That was the first time you sung it in public.
Yes,
Well done. That was really good. Very confident.
not sure. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Yeah, very good. So, are you ready now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Fantastic. You're
Yes,
welcome
I
to
am.
share.
I've got that verse in place. Okay. Right. So I will share my screen
Yep, yep.
and here we go. So before we begin with the stotram itself, I would like to share a short introduction into how this prayer, this stotra came into being.
Yes.
So we've all heard of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, the guru, the teacher,
Yeah.
and he had 4 primary disciples who went by the names of Sureshwaracharya, Padmapadacharya, Totakacharya, and Hastamalakacharya. These were 4 of his primary disciples. Of course, he had many disciples, many students, but these were his 4 primary disciples who went on to establish and lead 4 major monasteries or mathas in the 4 corners of Bharat. So the northernmost is at Jyotirmath near Badrinath. The one in the east is at Puri.
Mhm.
The one in the west is at Dwaraka. And the one in the south is at Sringeri. So Sringeri is in Karnataka, by the way. It's a very beautiful town, a very, very beautiful place. So this particular anecdote, this particular episode talks about Padmapadacharya, how he came to be a disciple of Sri Adi Shankaracharya and what his role is in this Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba Stotra. So there was a very devout Brahmin boy who lived on the banks of the river Kaveri. So the river Kaveri flows through, geographically, it flows through the states of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka in Bharat. So this boy lived on the banks of the river Kaveri, and while he was still a teenager, he had mastered all the Vedas. And while on the pilgrimage, he approached Sri Adi Shankaracharya in Kashi or Varanasi, and where the Acharya, he accepted this boy as his disciple and gave him the name Sanandana. So this boy, Sanandana, was the first of Adi Shankaracharya's disciples, and he was so dedicated in his studies and in his service to the Guru that Adi Shankaracharya used to repeatedly explain all of his devotional and other spiritual texts to him. So this led to a misunderstanding on the part of the other disciples who mistakenly thought that Adi Shankaracharya was being very partial to Sanandana. They thought he was favoring him, and that was very unfair to the other students or the other disciples. Adi Shankaracharya, of course, knew the very knowledgeable guru that he was. He understood what his disciples were feeling, and he said, and he thought to himself, okay, this notion, this idea that is growing in the minds of my disciples must be dispelled immediately. They should come out of that misunderstanding. So what he did one day was, so Sanandana and a few other disciples were on one bank of the river Ganga, and Adi Shankaracharya was on the other bank of the river. And so the river was between them. And Adi Shankaracharya, he called to the other disciples to come to him. And now but there was no boat available. The river was flowing in full force, and the other disciples, they had no idea how to approach the Guru without a boat. I mean, who can walk on water, right?
Mhm.
But Sanandana, he had full faith in the grace of his Guru. So he knew that his Guru would not ask him to do something which he thought to be impossible. So Sanandana, praying to his Guru with full devotion and focusing his mind, he took a step forward and he literally began to walk on the river water. And amazed, the river Ganga herself was so amazed by Sanandana's devotion that she began sprouting lotuses to support every step that Sanandana took. So Sanandana was stepping on lotuses. He wasn't even stepping on the water. And when he reached the other bank finally, Adi Shankaracharya, he embraced Sanandana with great affection and he blessed him, saying that because of this particular episode, he would henceforth be known as Padma Pada Acharya. So Padma meaning lotus, Pada meaning feet, and because the river Ganga sprouted a lotus to support every step, every footstep that Sanandana took, he became known as Padma Pada Acharya. He later on became the first head of the Puri Govardhana Mutt or monastery established by Adi Shankaracharya at Puri, which is in Odisha today. So that is the story of how Padmapada Acharya became blessed with that title, with that name.
Very interesting.
And now the story of how Adi Shankara was rescued by Lord Narasimha in person and how he came to compose this very beautiful prayer that we listen to shortly. So there was once a Kapalika. So a Kapalika is, of course, we don't find them today, but a Kapalika is a person who performs human sacrifice. Of course, that's not done these days, but these were ancient times. So this was sometime in the 8th century, which is when Adi Shankaracharya lived on the earth. He lived only for 32 years, mind you. And in those 32 years, he achieved so much. He was able to spread so much knowledge. So there was a Kapalika who once approached Adi Shankaracharya and begged him to give his head as a sacrificial offering. Now, I know this sounds very morbid and it sounds unbelievable. I mean, who would do that? But that was the nature of the Kapalika, and he knew Adi Shankaracharya was so noble that he would immediately agree to his request. And so he knew the Acharya would not say no. So the Acharya said, okay, I'll do it if you want. And he smiled. But he also warned the Kapalika and said, okay, you do it if you want, but you do it without the knowledge of any of my disciples. If they come to know, then God help you. So they must not know that you are about to do this. So what the Kapalika did was, when the disciples went, or they all went for a bath in the river, the Kapalika approached Adi Shankaracharya at that time. He knew the disciples would not be around to protect the Acharya. And Adi Shankara was in deep meditation, prayer and meditation at that time. This Kapalika approached Adi Shankaracharya and raised his sword to cut off the Acharya's head. At that very moment, Padmapadacharya, who had such a deep spiritual connect with his guru, and he was also a very great devotee of Lord Narasimha. Padmapadacharya was also a very great devotee of Lord Narasimha. Because of these two, because of his great deep connection with his guru, and because of his devotion for Lord Narasimha, he realized the evil intentions of the Kapalika. He understood what the Kapalika was about to do. And the force of his intense meditation on Lord Narasimha was so great that he temporarily assumed the form of the Lord. So it's like the spirit, the Lord entered into the body of Padmapadacharya. Padmapadacharya became a medium for the Lord to protect his devotee. And then, in that wondrous form of the Lord, he pounced upon the Kapalika, and letting out a terrifying roar, he destroyed the Kapalika completely, right there on the spot. And on hearing the sound, Adi Shankaracharya awoke from his meditation, and he was so thrilled. He was so surprised to witness the scene before him. And just like the other disciples, they also heard the sound and they came rushing to the scene. And with very great difficulty, Adi Shankaracharya made his student Padmapadacharya return to his human form. And so, as a token of gratitude towards the Lord, as an offering to the Lord for having protected him at that moment, Sri Adi Shankaracharya then went on to compose the Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba Stotra. So we know even Lord Narasimha is visualized and portrayed in various forms. So when he is in the Ugra form, or the angry form, it wasn't very easy to calm down. If we recall the episode from the Bhagavatam, just right after he had destroyed Hiranyakashipu, even the Devatas and Lord Brahma, they were afraid to approach the Lord, but the little child Prahlada, with his devotion, he was able to calm the Lord down. And the Lord is considered especially benevolent when he's present along with Devi Mahalakshmi. And therefore this prayer to Lakshmi Narasimha. So I'll proceed with the prayer. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Good explanation.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Srimad Payonidhi Niketana Chakrapane Bhogindra Bhogamani Ranjita Punyamurte Yogisha Shashwata Sharanya Bhavabhipota Lakshmi Nrasimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam Brahmendra Rudra Marudarka Kirita Koti Sanghattitanghi Kamala Malakanti Kanta Lakshmi Lasatkucha Saroruharaja Hamsa Lakshmi Nrasimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam Samsara Dabadahana Kulabhikaroru Jwalavali Bhirati Dagdhatanuruhasya Tvatpada Padmasarasi Sharanagasya Lakshmi Nrasimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam Samsara Jalapatitasya Jagannivasa Sarvendriyatha Badishagrajashopamasya Protkampita Prachurata Lukamastakasya Lakshmi Nrasimha Mama Dehi Karavalambam संसारकूपम् अतिघोरमगाधमूलम् सम्प्राप्य दुःखशतसर्पसमाकुलस्य दीनस्य देवकृपया पदमागतस्य लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् संसार भीकर करीन्द्र कराभिघात निष्पीड्य मानवपुषः सकलातिनाश प्राणप्रयाण भवभीति समाकुलस्य लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् संसार सर्पविषदिग्धमहोग्रतीव्र दंष्ट्राग्रकोटिपरिदष्टविनष्टमूर्तेः नागारिवाहनसुधाब्धिनिवासशौरे लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् संसार वृक्षमघ बीजमनन्तकर्म शाखायुतं करणपत्रमनङ्गपुष्पम् आरुह्य दुःखफलिनं पततो दयालो लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् संसार सागर विशाल कराल काल नक्रग्रह ग्रसित निग्रह विग्रहस्य व्यग्रस्य रागनिचयोन्मिनिपीडितस्य लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् संसार सागर निमज्जन मुह्यमानम् दीनं विलोकय विभो करुणानिधे माम् प्रह्लाद खेद परिहार कृतावतार लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् संसार घोर गहने चरतो मुरारे मारोग्र भीकर मृग प्रचुरार्दितस्य आर्तस्य मत्सर निदाघ सुदुःखितस्य लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् बद्ध्वा गलेयमभटा बहुतर्जयन्तः कर्षन्ति यत्र भवपाशशतैर्युतं माम् एकाकिनं परवशं चकितं दयालो लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् लक्ष्मीपते कमलनाभ सुरेश विष्णो यत्नेश यज्ञ मधुसूदन विश्वरूप ब्रह्मण्य केशव जनार्दन वासुदेव लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् एकेन चक्रमपरेण करेण शङ्खम् मन्येन सिन्धुतनयाम् अवलम्ब्य तिष्ठन् वामेतरेण वरदा भयपद्मचिह्नम् लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् अन्धस्य मे हृतविवेकमहाधनस्य चोरैर्महाबलिभिरिन्द्रियनामधेयैः मोहान्धकारकुहरे विनिपातितस्य लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् प्रह्लाद नारद पराशर पुण्डरीक व्यासादि भागवत पुंगवहृन्निवास भक्तानुरक्त परिपालन पारिजात लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम् लक्ष्मी नृसिंह चरणाब्जमधुव्रतेन स्तोत्रं कृतं शुभकरं भुवि शङ्करेण ये तत्पठन्ति मनुजा हरिभक्तियुक्ता ते यान्ति तत्पदसरोजम् अखण्डरूपम्। हरे कृष्ण।
Amazing. Amazing.
I missed adding the text in the last slide. I'll correct that later.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Amazing. So let's hope there's some resolution that takes place soon. So those suffering people don't continue to suffer.
Definitely.
Situation. Thank you, Shruti, for encouraging us to do our little bit. It's very little, but
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving us the chance to get together and pray. Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you,
Everybody
Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Hari
Krishna.
Bol, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Shruti.